Hey everybody, this is Brett, and tonight I'd like to tell you about some of the healthy comfort foods that I've consumed over the years that I think are really worth mentioning, just off the top of my head if I can think of them. Let's see. Since I completely stopped eating meat a couple of years ago, I have consumed a crap load of peanut butter. And you know, peanut butter is a staple in our country, and that is such a good sign actually, because even though a lot of the peanut butter out there isn't very healthy because they put hydrogenated vegetable oils in it and who knows what else, sugar and stuff, to get off of meat, I think it's really helpful to consume peanut butter. There's an acid in peanut butter called arachidonic, something like that, acid, and there's a lot of that particular acid in meats, and it's actually a required acid, what do they call it? It's one of the omega fatty acids that's required. And you don't need very much of it. You only need a very small amount of it. But people are used to consuming a large amount of it. And so when they get off of meat, it really helps them to consume a lot of peanut butter. It has me anyway. And also peanut butter is really fatty, and it's a good protein source. And I know that there are a lot of potential difficulties with consuming peanut butter that people will say, like it promotes candida, or it clogs your liver, etc. And it's true, it does. But that's exactly what you need when you're getting off of meat, because it's the perfect substitute because it has similar qualities as meat. And let's see, potatoes. Potatoes are really a great food, comfort food, because they're alkalizing, first of all. They're a lot of carbs, second of all. And pretty nutritious. They have a lot of potassium. And so it's a really good comfort food for consuming when you're trying to get off of processed foods and you need a whole food. You need something that you can consume fairly quickly. Something you can consume really quick is like bananas. Bananas are a great comfort food. Once again, lots of potassium, bananas and potatoes. Really easy to digest, those two foods. Easy to digest, and so they give you a lot of good nutrition, and they're easy to eat. You know, it's not like something like a green food. Green is hard. Green, you know, is the ultimate focus on where we're going here with foods and getting really healthy. But it takes a lot of time to get to be able to eat green foods, and so you got to have these comfort foods along the way. And you know, pea soup is really good for your tummy, makes you feel good, and any soup in general is very nutritious because it's been broken down and it's mostly a liquid, and you can digest it fairly easily. It's generally something that is great for people that are sick, they got the flu, you know. Let's see, what else have I used? Man, whenever you're kind of depressed or you've got anxiety, chocolate is great. Try and find chocolate without any dairy in it. Speaking of dairy, some great dairy substitutes are, today I bought some Artisana coconut butter. Oh my God, it's to die for. It's so good. And you know, nuts and seeds in general are really great, and dried fruit. I've consumed tons of dried fruit over the years to get off of processed foods and to get off of meat and all the stuff that I wanted to get away from, wheat and dairy. Fruit is just really good, and It helps to clean out your body, and a lot of people will say don't eat dried fruit, maybe it has mold on it and stuff, You can wash that off. You can also rehydrate dried fruit, and then it'll make it a lot more digestible. But as a snack, it's just so great to consume raisins or figs, dried figs, the Turkish figs, the brown Turkish figs are so freaking good. And they're not too expensive at Green Life or Whole Foods. Right now they're, I believe, $5.99 a pound, which comparatively speaking is pretty good. Let's see. Of course, almond butter is really good, and I do recommend for sure any almonds, nuts and seeds that you buy them organic, and I know you have to pay a lot more for that, but I've had a few bad experiences with buying non-organic nuts and seeds that really make me think twice about buying them again. But let's see, whenever I need some protein and I just don't have time to cook beans, to soak them and then to cook them, I like to have a can of refried beans in the cupboard, and man, that's good stuff. That is some tasty protein food right there. Easy to digest. I've never had a problem digesting refried beans because it's broken down so good. And just make sure you always look at the labels and make sure you're not getting freaking lard in your beans, because so many of the crap brands put lard in the refried beans. Stay away from that. So let's see, before I became vegan, I would like to eat some like sardines. Some of the little fish don't have too much mercury in them, and so sardines and oysters, oh man, makes my mouth water thinking about it right now. But I am glad that I got totally off of meat, and I think I can hang. Right now, even though it's been 2 years, and that seems like a long time, if you think about it, considering that I'm the first vegan in my lineage, my parents, my grandparents, and everyone before them never ate never were vegan. They all ate meat. My mom's side, Norwegian, and all of them ate tons of fish, and in order for you to be able to hang, in order for me to be able to hang vegan, I've got to be really smart, and I've got to eat a wide variety of foods. I probably need to juice regularly. I eat a lot of seaweed. If you're not eating seaweed, then you should get going on it. Seaveg.com. Seaweed has a lot of iodine, which is good for your thyroid, and years ago they made the salt industries add iodine to the salt because people were getting goiters, a swollen thyroid here, and without iodine your thyroid is not going to function properly. And I've even known people that got thyroid cancer and had to get it removed, and you definitely don't want to do that. So eat dulse and kelp and bladderwrack and nori and all the different kinds of seaweeds, and some of them, learn which ones you have to cook, and the other ones can just be soaked. You have to educate yourself on that. There's just so many. Sauerkraut and fermented foods are really important, and eating lots of greens is really important. Some of them you can eat raw, other ones you may need to cook. It depends on how big the greens are. Like I have baby greens out there, baby collards that I can just pick out of my garden that are so tender that I can just consume them raw. But after they get bigger and it's like January and there's a foot of snow out there, then I'll probably cook them, and I'll be eating squash this winter. I'll be eating with the seasons, and I won't try and just be a Mr. 100% raw badass. Yeah, someday maybe I'll move to some beautiful tropical island in the South Pacific and eat almost completely raw. But for right now, I live in Asheville, North Carolina. It's a beautiful place, and we do get a little bit of snow. Last couple winters, holy shit, we got a lot of snow. It gets very cold out there, and it's starting to now, and we're craving some nice hot food. So, there are so many things involved with natural healing, and it's not just a matter of foods. So focus on connecting with the heavens, on being really nice and really beautiful person, doing no harm as much as possible. Let go of your crap in some other way, like run out in the woods and scream or something. But I'll tell you that I quit consuming alcohol, and I'm very glad that I did. And I thought back, I was 15, 16 before I'd consumed any alcohol, and I did fine with it before then, so why would I need any now? And so there are a lot of different things that I'm trying that I enjoyed when I was a kid, or that I didn't do when I was a kid, and I was just fine with it then, so why not play some frisbee or do some skateboarding now that I'm 46? It's all good. Okay, I think I have exhausted my time with you. Maybe I'm just ready to end this one. Love you. Be good.